Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing really well. If you're new here, then my name's Heather and I am a professional freelance viola player living and working in the UK, and I make videos just all about freelance life and musician life and everything to do with that. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, then well, number one, you clicked on this video, so you must be interested in it, which must mean that you want to like and subscribe. Yes?
Yes. You want one? Yes. You want one? Yes.
I do want to apologise for not putting up a video last week. I had a little bit of a tough week. Just everything kind of felt a little bit overwhelming, and I was chatting to my husband about this yesterday because I was like, oh, I really want to film this week, you know, I missed it and I've got some questions that I want to answer, but I also I don't really know if that's going to be interesting, and I don't know, I just had a little bit of a moment about it. And so I wanted to say just like a massive thank you to anybody that has responded when I put up stuff on Instagram asking for your input into these videos, that kind of stuff. Come follow me on Instagram, Heathers_plan. Come check it out. But like genuinely really thank you, because these videos are all about my job, and obviously at the moment I'm not really working very much. None of us musicians really are, I don't think. So making videos about a job that you're not really doing is really hard. And I know, oh, woe is me, I can't think of a video idea, but you know what I mean. And so I do want to say, like, if you ever respond to those question boxes and stuff, like, just a massive thank you. It helps me out so much, and it just kind of makes it more fun, because if you're making videos that you know people want to see because they've asked you a question or they've put forward an idea, that just makes it so much more fulfilling. So very selfishly, I guess, thank you so much. And yeah, come follow me on Instagram, and then you can get involved as well. So I put up one of those little question boxes on my Instagram, and I just asked you for the questions that you've wanted to ask a musician, but you felt like maybe they were a little bit controversial, or maybe you didn't want to, come across in the wrong way, whatever. And I love stuff like this because I've always said I am an open book. You can ask me anything, I will always answer it as honestly as I am able to, and if I don't know the answer, then I will be honest about that too. So yeah, today is just a few of the questions that I got sent over. Let's get into it. This actually came up more than once, which is why I definitely want to answer it. And it was, are people on talent shows actually talented? Now, some of them are, yes. I think shows like The Voice and... No, it's pretty much just The Voice, actually, that I think really attracts really talented people. Obviously I'm talking musical talent here, that's my sort of area of expertise, if you like, and so I'm not going to comment on how talented they are, in other aspects, but I think The Voice can really attract some really incredible singers that otherwise may not get the recognition and the platform that they deserve. So I think that is one of the shows which I actually have watched in the past and quite enjoy. Shows like The X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, which I've actually worked on, so can't talk too harshly, but shows like that, I find them very difficult to watch, because I know some incredible musicians, like friends and colleagues of mine, who are far more talented and musically able than these people who go on these shows, and they are very unlikely to ever receive the kind of recognition that these people get. So for me, I can find it a little bit frustrating, because I'm just there like, yeah, like, woo, like, good for you, you sung well and that's all good. But I think in often cases there's a lot of production and a lot of lights and a lot of fancy costumes, which is often more than the talent. I got asked in sort of different kind of wordings, like how much I actually make and how much I make per gig, and how much I make per gig is sort of an easier one to answer. Per gig, there is actually a rate that we should be being paid. There's an MU rate, so the Musicians Union have like a lowest rung that it should always be this, and then go up from there. So their rung is £128 for a 3-hour performance. So There's a little bit of interpretation there, whether that includes like the rehearsals and everything, but generally speaking, per gig, I get about £130 and up. So recordings, it's quite a bit more because your work is then going to be used, particularly if it's a buyout fee, then a 3-hour recording will probably see you take in at least about £300 or so. So yeah, it's pretty well paid when we get the work, which is always really, really nice. This one I actually want to read word for word because the wording of it made me laugh, and they did ask that I kept them anonymous, so I'm not gonna like screen grab it. But are musicians really always drunk / on drugs? This always seems to be the culture that you hear about in films and in people telling anecdotes. Is this actually the case? I'm presuming not for you. Thank you so much. Okay. I like that you presume that I'm not always drunk / on drugs. Like, I appreciate that. So I think this comes from potentially a little bit of an old school culture where I think, obviously, I mean, before I was in the industry, so I am kind of talking from hearsay and, you know, what you hear and whatever. But I think there was definitely a culture of a lot of drinking surrounding musicians, and in the classical world, particularly around the West End and pit bands and all of those kinds of things. And partially that's because of the pressures of the job. You are under a huge amount of strain and pressure, and if you suffer from any kind of performance anxiety, often a drink can kind of make you feel a little bit better. Like, you know, we all know that having a couple of drinks kind of buoys up your confidence. So you can understand where it started, but I think these days, no, we are not always drunk or on drugs. I should have said that at the start, actually. The answer is no. Some people might be. I mean, I don't know. They obviously hide it well. But I think the culture around it is changing very much. And for example, if I was in a pit band and somebody turned up and you could either smell alcohol on them or they were a little bit spacey, shall we say, I wouldn't book them for anything. I wouldn't recommend them for anything, for sure. So I think that kind of culture has shifted a little bit. It's not as accepted as potentially it used to be. I think there's obviously parts of the industry where maybe it is more accepted, but they're not areas that I am actively involved in, so therefore I can't really speak for them. But yeah, short answer, no. No, we are not. One of the things that I think I really enjoy doing, and a lot of other people do, is that post-gig, then you'll kind of head down to the pub and have a drink as just kind of a way to sort of wind down, discuss how the performance went, kind of let off a little bit of steam, and you know, I think that's just kind of the same as going for a drink after work. Another thing that came up was, do arts councils and arts funding actually care about the arts? And it was a loaded question because the person saying it had their own opinion on it. But I think in my experience, it just massively depends on who you're dealing with within your particular arts council. So it sort of depends where you live. I think the issue comes, and you can run into problems and sort of butt heads a little bit, when you have non-musicians or non-creatives in charge of who gets the money. So you'll often get people who are incredibly gifted in academic and kind of admin senses in charge of these very creative aspects, if that makes sense. And I think that can be quite tricky, because then they're in the mindset of, right, okay, I have this money that I can award to whomever applies to it. Which one of those exploits is going to kind of make the most money, either for us as the council or for them, or like, you know, it can be very kind of money focused. Whereas you'll get other people who will go, okay, which one of these projects is going to be the most enriching, either to the arts or to the community or whatever. And I think it depends what kind of person you're dealing with. I think so often arts council funding can come with so many strings attached that you have to jump through so many hoops, either to get it or to, once you've got it, continue to keep receiving those payments if they don't feel like you're doing what you applied for. You know, I mean, obviously you have to be honest when you apply, but you know, they can kind of say, oh, well, because we've given you the money, we can dictate what you then do with it to like the nth degree. And I think that's when people can really run into problems. So to be really, really vague, it just totally depends who you're dealing with. I think most do, like their arts funding, it's literally there to fund the arts. But I think it depends who is in control of that particular pot of money, and I think a lot of the times it can be quite a frustrating exchange, particularly because a lot of creatives don't have the skills necessary to, you know, really fill out a really good application, because there's, you know, you have to hit certain buzzwords and all of that, and like writing essays, like there's a reason that we go off to music colleges where we get taught how to play our instrument and we don't really have to write many essays, because we don't like writing essays. So as soon as you have to do that kind of thing, it can be quite stressful. So I think it can just be a little bit of a clash of worlds that often doesn't really work in the way it's supposed to, unfortunately. Are all music teachers really mean, a la Whiplash? Now, I have actually never seen the movie Whiplash, and I know it came out like quite a while ago, so maybe I should have done. But basically it's about this jazz drummer who has a teacher or a tutor who is quite abusive to him, particularly verbally. Like he'll shout at him and kind of demean him and make him feel like really small, and kind of one of the reasons I haven't watched it is because I'm a bit like, it doesn't sound very nice. But I mean, the short answer is no, absolutely not. Again, I think that kind of teaching style, the very sort of demeaning, sort of beat them down, build them back up style, I think that's very old-fashioned now, and I mean, I don't think many places would really stand for it. And I've done a video all about choosing the right teacher for you, which I'll actually link below, but that's kind of centered around music college. I do think that that style still exists, but it's absolutely being phased out, and like I said, it's not acceptable in my eyes to ever treat another human in that way, let alone somebody who's putting their trust and their faith in you. It's quite a vulnerable relationship, because as a student you're going to the teacher and often bearing your soul a little bit when you're playing these pieces, and it's a very personal thing, your playing ability. So I think any teacher that takes advantage of that and uses those things to belittle somebody just loses my respect immediately, because you don't need to do that, and it's a bit of a cheap ego shot in my view. So I could rant about that for longer, but yeah, I mean, no, they are not all like that. That is not what learning an instrument is like, and if that has ever put you off learning an instrument, then please don't worry, because I promise that most teachers are really lovely people that just want to get the best out of their students, and will do so in a productive, healthy way, and not by shouting in your face. Do your family approve of your career path? I really want to pursue a career in music, but I know that my family won't approve. They want a more academic work stream for me. Any advice? Much appreciated. Thank you. This one sort of made me a little bit sad, because I can just exactly picture the situation that this individual is in, and the answer is that yes, I mean, they are hugely supportive, which is wonderful. And I've mentioned before that my eldest brother is also a professional musician in the capacity that he is a composer and an orchestrator, and just a little bit of a badass, to be honest. Like, he's doing some really cool stuff. I'll have his website linked below, like, go check him out, because yeah, very proud to say that he's my big brother, that's for sure. And we've always been a very musical family as a whole. We all grew up doing music, so I don't think it really came as a shock to anybody when I, you know, went into music as my career. But as to wanting to go into it but your parents don't approve and they want a more academic line of work, which is how this individual phrased it, it's a really tricky one. And I think the best way to approach it is to just kind of sit down and properly talk it through. Like, the concerns that they have are probably well-founded and understandable, particularly if they are not musicians themselves and they don't understand the world of being a musician, because it is a slightly bizarre one. It's not really similar to any other industry, I don't think, other than kind of acting, but again, that's kind of creative arts and all of that. So you really just need to sit down and talk it through, and also explain to them why you want to do it, because that will also be a good double checker, can't think of the right word, for you to know, am I going into this for the right reasons? Because if you're going into it because it seems like it's really fun, really glamorous to be up on stage and everybody applauding and all these things, that is not a good enough reason. That is one of the biggest perks of the job. I mean, I've said before, what other job ends in applause? You know, you literally get applauded for doing your job, which is wonderful. And I'm never going to deny that, but that is not a good enough reason to go into it. So if you are finding that you are clashing with your parents, it may well be that they've kind of noticed that maybe you don't have quite the right motivation. So talk to them. Just talk to them. You have to kind of hash it out, because also you may need their support at some point. And if they're gonna kind of sit there and go, well, we did tell you, so you know, off you go, then that's gonna be really tricky. So I'm really, really lucky in the fact that my family are wonderfully, wonderfully supportive of me and always have been. But I do acknowledge that that is not the case for everybody. And if that's you, then I am really, really sorry for that. But yeah, just talk to them, explain to them why you want to do what you do. And I'm such an advocate for people pursuing music as a career, because doing a job that you hate for your entire life just boggles my mind. I mean, I know that sometimes needs must, and there are cases, you know, and I've worked jobs that I haven't particularly enjoyed because I needed to provide for myself whilst my career was kind of getting started, and that's totally it's a different conversation. So let's park that to the side. But doing a career and a job that you really, really hate when you have another option, to me just makes no sense. Like, I love my job. It's why I do it, and it's why I'm so passionate about it. If you're really wanting to pursue a career in music and you really do believe that it's a viable career plan for you, then I always think you should go for it, because you regret the things you don't do and you don't try so much more than the things that you do. So yeah, because I'm not your mother and I can't say go for it anyway, chat to her and them and your family. How crazy does it drive you when people play / mime instruments wrong on TV and film? It's a pet peeve of mine. Do your research, people. Like, Google human playing violin, and you will kind of get the gist of it. It's when you can literally see, like, there have been photo campaigns. I think Vogue was a really, really famous one. I shall insert the picture here, of somebody's playing them the wrong way round. And everyone was just like, I'm sorry. But so often in films, and I mean often, it's not like the actor's fault, because they are not a professional musician, they're a professional actor. I'd probably look silly if I tried to act. But do you know what I mean? Like, it does really, really frustrate me. It's particularly because there are literal agencies now where you can hire professional musicians to come in and be the people playing the instruments so that it looks authentic and real. And just do that. Please, just do that. If you are in TV and film, just please do that, because otherwise it makes me lose respect for film. Like, I can stop taking it seriously as soon as I see somebody just playing an instrument completely wrong. So yeah, a lot. And that is it. Those are all the questions and things that I got sent. So I think I'm going to do sort of a little similar style of video to this, but a little bit more what are Google's most asked questions, because I sort of looked up a couple of them the other day and they're quite funny and quite insightful, I think, into what people search. So yeah, so I'm going to do that next week. So if you have enjoyed this video and would like to see more along similar kind of lines, then yeah, please do like this video and subscribe to my channel. Hit the little notification bell, it will notify you when I post. I am going to try and put out videos every week on a Wednesday at 11 AM. If I am releasing a video, that's when it will be. And like I said, come follow me on Instagram. I'll always keep you up to date with whether there's going to be a video and not and whatever. But like I said, it is really hard at the moment to come up with content ideas when I'm not actually doing the thing that I am making the content about. So yes, if you have any suggestions, any questions, anything, just comment them below, message me on Instagram, drop me an email, send me a carrier pigeon, whatever. That would be great. But yes, I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, stay sane, and yeah, I will see you guys really, really, really soon. Bye bye.